Welcome everyone to Coffee with a Codex. My name is Dot Porter. I am a curator here in the Schoenberg Institute for Manuscript Studies, which is in the Kislak Center for Special Collections, Rare Books and Manuscripts in the University of Pennsylvania Libraries. This is Coffee with a Codex, where once a week on Thursdays at noon, I get on Zoom and take a book off the shelf, and we just do a quick show and tell, 30 minutes. As I said, very informal. If you have questions or comments as we go, please type them in the chat. In this case, as often happens, this is a book I don't know a whole lot about. Particularly, it is in Arabic, and I don't read Arabic. I have information about the book that I'll share with you. Not to call her out too much, but our colleague Kelly Tuttle is here, and she did a lot of cataloging of our Arabic manuscripts a few years ago. So Kelly, if you have anything to add as I'm going, please do. Anyone else on the call who knows more than me, please also contribute, and I'll read comments on the chat. Also, Amy Hutchins is here. Amy is our manuscripts cataloging librarian. She'll also keep her eye on the chat as we go. So without any further ado, let me introduce this book. So it was written in Iran between 1375 and 1399 question mark. So, 14th century. The binding is later binding. So this is a more modern binding. And let's open it up. And it is, as I said, it's written in Arabic. What is the text, you all ask? So the text is it's a copy of Avicenna's medical encyclopedia, the first book of Avicenna's medical encyclopedia. So Avicenna, or Ibn Sina, is his Arabic name, or Persian name. That's his name. Ibn Sina is his actual name, and Avicenna is the sort of westernized version of that. He lived from the late 10th century into the 11th century, and he was sort of I think a polymath. Like, he was a very smart, great person, and he wrote a lot of things. And one of the things he wrote is this text called the Canon of Medicine, which was a work in 5 books. So what we're looking at today is just the first book of this great collection. And what he did was he synthesized all medical knowledge that existed at that time. It came out of the Greco-Roman medicine, particularly Galen, and other people from the Greek, from Greek. So they were translated from Greek into Arabic, and then he sort of compiled them. He was also a medical practitioner. So he also incorporated actual stuff that he knew just from his own medical work. So he was really amazing. This was an amazing book, a huge book. I think I saw 1 million words or something. It was very big, the whole thing. And it was translated, I want to say in the 13th century, into Latin. And it hit Europe just like nothing else. And it became the text that was studied in Europe for medicine into the early modern period. So I cannot overemphasize like how influential this was. Just to give you an idea of how much this text was copied, we have several copies in our collection, which is not a very big collection. We have several copies in Arabic of different parts of it. I don't know if we have one that's like all 5 books, but we have, parts, bits and pieces that are copied over a long period of time. So this one is, what did I say? I think it's 14th century. 13, yeah, the end of the 14th century. We have earlier copies, we have later copies, we have copies in Hebrew, we have copies in Latin, we have copies, or not copies, but commentaries. There are lots of different versions of this text, and it was so like incredibly popular. It was printed. The second link in the list of links that I gave you is actually a link to a scanned printed copy, a scanned edition, printed edition. So lots and lots of these. So what I've been, we sort of open, just so you have something to look at while I'm yelling at you right now. But what we see here is sort of the opening, and this has ownership stamps and ownership marks here, probably from the 19th century. So these were being, people own them and put their stamps in them and put their names in them. And then there's some interesting textual things also that are happening that I'll point out as we go. So we start out actually with, I think this is a little bit of an introduction because the text, I'll show you where the text proper starts. And so we start here. There's a blank, kind of a blank space here. If you've seen other manuscripts, sometimes there'll be like a decorated header. This one does not have one. Whether the space implies that it was planned and not put in or not is, I don't really know. So we'll keep going. The script is a Naskh script, which is a very common, we have a lot of manuscripts that are in this script. It's sort of a basic Arabic script, very upright and quite narrow here. Brian says, I saw that this manuscript has a lot of marginalia. It does. Even here, we've got some marginal notes, lots of notes added here. Okay, so
Dot,
here's
can I interrupt
where...
you for 1 second?
Yes,
This is
please.
Kelly. I just wanted to point out that all those red in the previous, you've been flipping through it, that's all the table of contents. So it's just sort of helping direct the reader. Each time there's something red there, it just says el fasl, which is like telling you the breaks, chapter breaks, part breaks.
Yeah. And
So.
and that's really helpful because I don't think I have a really easy way for me to see the list, but there's like if you go to that second link to where you can see the table of contents, it's very detailed. So this is where the first part starts. This first part is definition and subjects of physiology is where this starts, but this has like multiple sub parts as well. So he defines medicine. This is the section where he talks about the temperaments and the fluids of the body. So that is, I always get them wrong, but the phlegm, black bile, and blood are the four humors, which were like central to this concept of health, where you have these four humors and they have to be in balance for you to be healthy. These kinds of things. And this section also talks about tissues and organs and other things. So here again, more margin, and these look like a different hand here. So there's a lot. And this is interesting to see what kind of hands come up in the margins, because this is people interacting with the text, right? People are reading this and responding to the text in different ways. And so they're leaving their marks as these marginalia.
Also, just to interject, the comments in the margins are frequently in Persian for this. So like the text itself is in Arabic, but the comments are often in Persian.
Right. And I'm noticing that the script is more like a Nastaliq script. Is that an indication that it's in Persian?
Yeah, it does help. I mean, like often Persian will be written in Nastaliq, and so people who are doing their little comments in the margins are writing in what they normally write in, which would be kind of Nastaliq in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and don't be shy about interrupting, Kelly. I appreciate your...
Also, I was looking through this the other day, and I just noticed that these red overlines these are overlines, by the way, not underlines. So they're often just kind of highlighting the name of a part. So like, or whatever it is that you're supposed to be paying attention to. So like this is their section breaks or their parts. It's supposed to draw the eye to something that is helping you navigate the text. So this says like as for the fourth part, as for the fifth part, so it's telling you more details about parts of whatever part of the body this is that we're in right now.
Cool. That's helpful because I would not know that. Um, so we're going to see more of this, and I'm actually going to, let's see, I don't want to flip ahead too much because I feel like every page is kind of interesting. So there's a lot of lines happening here. Do you know what specifically is happening here with these lines? Oop, sorry.
So it's like it's a list of things. It says and
Ah,
then and then and then and then. But like I don't know what part of the body we're in right now or what this is talking about. So
okay.
um
But again, it's like drawing your attention to this list of things
yeah.
that you should be paying attention to. Okay. Oop. Woo. Amy says in Latin it would be item, 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 or like item. Like, oop. Sorry, there we go. Here we go. So if we, oh, here we go. Here's a page with a lot of marginalia. Um,
So somebody in the comments asked what the marginalia is. Um so some of it is like a little commentary on a section of the text to clarify or give a different opinion. Some of it might be like a little chunk that's missing. There's sometimes a little caret with either like a missing little bit or just more commentary on it. Sometimes it says at the beginning of the comment what it is, like so and so says this about this section.
mhm.
But it's mostly just other people's interpretations of the section that they're looking at.
Yeah, that is what I would um, figure. All right, I'm turning off the join and leave sound. All right, there we go. Um, and it's interesting to see how some pages, like clearly this page, um, really got somebody interested um, as a, oh, and then the following one. So there's something about what's being discussed here because not only are there marginal notes, but also interlinear. So like between the lines, it gets very crowded here. Um, might be interesting to take a closer look to kind of see what exactly is happening there. Um, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit just because something happens right here. And what happens is, I think you can tell that on this side, on the right side, we have one hand, so the scribal hand, and then this is different, and even the paper is different. So the paper on this side is quite light colored, and it also has chain lines, uh, which I noticed, and I don't know if you all will be able to see this, but when paper has lines, you can sort of see the pattern um, of the frame that it was made on. So the paper was actually made of rags or linen or something that was made into a pulp and then taken up into a frame and kind of shaken to make the paper. And you can see the lines here, whereas on the facing page, it is a darker color, and also we don't see those lines. Um, Arabic paper, or I guess Islamicate paper, I'm not sure how to say it, was the way that it was made, paper in the Middle East, in a different way from Western paper. It would have been rubbed with an object to make it shiny. So both of these are shiny here. The lines I see they're vertical. Amy's asking about the lines. Um, and but but the paper is very different, and the hand is different. This is a much more narrow hand. There are more words per in each line than on this side, and that's because this is the first 40 leaves here are, so the number 40 here are replacement leaves. So originally the book would have been written, it would have looked entirely like this. What happened to the first part of it? Hard to say. Maybe the book got damaged and it had to be replaced or something like that. And also there are replacement pages again at the very end. So we'll see that there's more of it that. And this is something that happens to books. You know, books change over time. In this case, we have a later binding. We have new or replacement pages that have a lot of marginalia. So clearly it was replaced early enough that people were still, you know, I mean, it was replaced, people cared enough to replace it, and then other people were commenting on it. So there's that. But there's more marginalia as we go on into the later part. But this is still the first section of the text. And we still have the, so Marie is asking how the replacement date is relative to the original. I don't know. The record doesn't say, so I don't know. I don't know if Kelly, if you have a better sense of it.
I don't have a great sense of it because I haven't looked at this in person in like more than 5 years. So, and I can't remember what I thought at the time. But the new pages, because they have chain lines, it's probably imported European paper. So it's
That was
coming
what I
from
was
like after
wondering.
1500 or so.
Yeah.
And then if the other side doesn't have any lines at all, then it's, I don't know, locally made paper, which is, I think that's why, plus the Persian everywhere, that we sort of thought maybe it's from the Persian area. But there's nothing to really specify that. So everything should be followed with question marks, and somebody who knows more can come along and make better deductions.
Yeah, there are question marks in the record for
Okay.
sure. Yeah. So we go on, and this is still in pretty good condition. So let's go. So this is all the first section continues on.
So someone
And
just asked about the ink. Can I answer that quick?
yes,
So the black ink, it's not iron gall. It's like a carbon-based ink. So, and the red, it's like some kind of little bug, I want to say, that you like crunch up,
is it the cochlear? Is it cochial? Is that how it's pronounced?
maybe.
Con
Yeah.
cochineal. Yes, Marie has written it out. I can't say it. I don't think I'm saying it correctly, but yes, that's the one.
Yeah. So since it's not iron, it's kind of nice because iron doesn't get used very much in Islamic manuscripts, it seems like. So you don't get that like burning through the page that you do with some
Yeah, that
manuscripts
can
on paper.
happen. What would it be made of, like burned, like burned wood? Like where did the carbon come from?
Um, we're getting out of my area of
Okay.
knowledge.
Me too. That's the kind of question I get, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. Um, let's see, a little bit more. And
Oh yeah. You
you're good about
never mind.
about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kelly is noticing the same thing that I'm noticing over here too, and that is that there's it's been trimmed, right? So this is some writing, this is some notes, and originally it's not like somebody was writing on the edge of the paper. It's that the paper used to be wider, and it was trimmed at some point, and you see it even more over here. And now that we're going to see this everywhere now. And this is something that happens in books actually quite a lot when they're rebound. They can be cut down so they can fit bindings or fit on shelves or however they were doing it. And that's interesting because I had noticed even when I was taking it out of the box, it's kind of a weird shape. It is quite like tall and narrow. And if it's been trimmed, that explains that. So it wasn't originally this shape. It was, it was bigger or wider at least, and then it was cut, which
Although it's not that weird of a shape for
is, is it
Islamic
not
kid
for,
stuff. No.
yeah.
You get
Maybe
kind
they
of
cut
like
it.
square shapes a little bit like further west in North Africa and stuff like that, but the kind of tall, narrow shape is not that strange.
Not that strange. All right. So I take that back. It was a good, maybe they were cutting it to make it a more shaped like the other books in the library, which again is like a thing that,
Yeah.
at least I know people did that in the West. They would like cut them to a size that they wanted or a shape that they wanted. All right.
They may have also trimmed it when they put in the new pages because it seems like it's just on these original pages where the trimming really shows up.
Yeah, I think you're right because everything that I saw in the first part, all of the notes fit right on the page, even when they were chock full. Ooh, look, a little diagram. Okay, and then we get to the second part, which starts here. And the second part, let me find this. So part 2 has to do with diseases, their causes, and general symptoms. And again, I'm referring to the second link, which lists out the whole table of contents. So this part 2 has 3 theses, so 3 larger sections: diseases, the causes of diseases, and then symptoms. And all of these are divided into chapters, which themselves may be a page or a few pages long. And I can't reference it to this book, but that's what this section then is about, is how to figure out diseases. Okay, so I see a couple of things that are happening on these pages. One is that I think this is an ownership mark. Or an ownership stamp.
Yeah, it's the library stamp. I mean,
The library.
could be somebody's personal library, I guess, but
This is a stamp. So they weren't only putting stamps on the front, because we saw several here on the front. Although it might be, actually, it's the same stamp here. So they just stamped it a few times to make sure that you know who owns the book. And more notes here. I'm not seeing any of the overlining.
can you go back a couple of pages?
Yeah.
I just wanted to, so on this right page, you see there's like looks like a little 2 above this bottom. I kind of like pointing to it on my screen, like you can tell what I'm pointing
Like
to.
this one
Yeah,
here?
the one below it though, that
Oh,
one.
right here. Yeah.
That one. Yeah, so then
Ah,
if you look over that line, you see another one of that same shape, like go directly to the left from where it is, and you see like almost the last word, there's that same little shape above the word.
oh, yeah,
Right there.
right
Okay.
there.
Yeah. So that's where this little comment goes on the line. So,
Got it.
and you can see it with the top one too. Actually, if you look down the line, you'll see that same
Yep, right there.
symbol. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's nice. So they're marking exactly where the comment.
Yeah.
Where the
And there's some
comment is.
overlining on the left page, but it's
Ah.
not red anymore. So it's
Oh,
harder
yeah,
to
I
see.
see. And there's one right here. I said that, and now here's a little bit. Yeah, and this is the overlining over here. It is a lot more harder to see without the red. Like the color makes a big difference. So you see why they used it. And I just want to go, I just love to see this. So much commentary in different hands, I think, or is this all this? No. I think here's one in there, and different, and they write all, you know, all over the page. I love to see that. Um, John asks, are the differences in the insertion marks significant? I think he's asking about the previous page with are those incidental or are they important? What the marks are?
They're, I mean, those ones, they're like specific to certain words that are in there, or they may be a missing little chunk of text. You'd have to go through and look at it more closely, but the fact that they're there and they're not there for other kinds of marginalia is significant.
Okay. Cool. Right. So diseases and we'll skip ahead a little bit because we only have a couple of minutes left. I can't believe we've gone so quickly. There's more marginalia.
Can you go to the colophon if we're wrapping up?
We'll get there before we wrap up.
Okay.
The third book starts here, and the third book is part 3. Oh, it just lists out the theses. It has 5 theses. It's the cause of health and disease and the inevitability of death. So a nice thing to have a chapter about. And the theses here are on education, regimen proper for adults. So I think that's sort of daily regimen to keep you healthy, regimen for the aged, regimen for cases when the temperament is not normal, and then changes of seasons. So sort of a holistic view. And then there's one more part, but my information doesn't say where part 4 starts here. So I'll just sort of skip ahead. And that is therapeutics. And there are 32 chapters of therapeutics. So that is in here. And then, yes, let's go to the colophon. Is that at the very end? Is that the last page?
Yeah, that's a triangle. I just wanted to point out that the part of the reason the date is so shaky on this is that someone scrubbed it out.
Oh,
like right there is where the date is supposed to be. That scrubbed part on the end of that line it said the year. And then somebody wrote a 9. And so I don't know if that, I don't know if it was 900 Hijri something, or if it was just someone being, wanting to say that it was. So we don't. And also these are the replacement pages. So anyway, it would be nice if they hadn't scrubbed it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think this was originally, this would have been a colophon for the replacement pages, or would they have copied the colophon from the original one?
So you get it both ways. Sometimes they just copy the colophon as it is from the original one, and then you're kind of like, this doesn't seem to match with the paper, but they may have also changed it to be their own, and I don't know because it's kind of scrubbed.
Yeah, so thank you. Pamela is asking, can you define colophon? And yes, I was going to do that because this is a particular thing. So a colophon is when a scribe signs a manuscript or has some kind of message that they leave in a manuscript. And you hear about them sometimes regarding like Western manuscripts, like the scribe is like, oh, I got so tired writing this and now my hand is tired, and that kind of thing. But my own experience is that, colophons are pretty rare. I don't see them very much in our Western manuscripts that we have at Penn. I think they're pretty unusual. I see them a lot more in Islamic manuscripts and manuscripts in Arabic and Persian. I think there's much more of a tradition. And as Kelly said, when manuscripts are copied, sometimes they actually copy the colophon as well, which is interesting.
Yeah. So it's typical in Islamic manuscripts to find the year. And then you sometimes get someone's name and they say, please forgive any mistakes you find in this manuscript. They don't usually complain about being tired and things like that. They also ask for blessings on them and on other people. And then you don't often get place. You sometimes get place, but not very often. So you get year, and then less often you get year and name, and then even less often year, name, and place.
Yeah, and I think it's the same in like Latinate manuscripts. That information, you just don't see them very often. I mean, we definitely have a few that have them, but not. And I think that's a nice way to end. We're at the end, and we'll end. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming and walking through this with me. Thank you, Kelly. Your input was really helpful, and I appreciate you coming at the last minute. So, everyone, I hope I'll see you again next week, where we'll be looking at some Middle English. And have a great week and take care.